Hi everyone, Tony Tonkin here from the Child Protection Party. I'm glad you could be with me today to have a conversation about men's behaviour and the extreme end of men's behaviour, which is where they cause death. So it isn't about necessarily controlling behaviour, it's about the ultimate in control and causing harm to others. And there are two distinct cases that have happened in the last couple of days. There was a case where a woman was doused with some sort of accelerant, petrol perhaps, and was set on fire by her partner or ex-partner. And as a result of that, she passed away. And there's a number of terrible things about that. Number one is, why would somebody do that to me? That's just out of the realms of reality. I don't understand that. It could never be justified, no matter what argument you put forward, killing somebody else and particularly burning them. Think of what a horrible, horrible way to pass away, to die, by being incinerated. It's the most revolting, disgusting concept I can think about. But it happened, and it happened to this woman because for whatever reason she was separated from her partner. My guess is that he believed that the separation was inappropriate, unhelpful, clearly wasn't what he wanted, and he believed that if she couldn't be with him, then she needed to die. And it saddens me greatly to think that we as men behave in this way, and that every one woman every 9 days dies at the hands of their partner or ex-partner. And what is this epidemic about? Why isn't it that we as men can understand that perhaps our behaviour is so extreme at some point that our partners choose not to have a relationship with us, which is their right if we're behaving so badly? And what is there about us that makes us think that we can control someone to the point whereby we can get them, force them to love us? Because that does not happen, ever. It doesn't happen. And lo and behold, this guy decided that the relationship was going to be left, I guess, on his terms, so he chose to kill her. Now, this is the image of that woman, a young woman with a couple of young kids, children who will never see their mother again. And what person in their right mind would create a situation in which they will never ever be able to see their partner again? I just don't understand that. It's a concept which is completely foreign to me, and it saddens me to think that men, for whatever reason, believe that they can control others in this way to get whatever it is that they want. What is wrong with us? Why in the hell can't we just accept that a relationship is over? If we need to find another relationship, we go out and find one. But what makes us think that we can manipulate a relationship in such a way that we will get whatever it is that we want out of it? And when we get to that stage where we don't think we're going to get whatever we need out of it, we take extreme and drastic steps in order for us to get, I guess, whatever it is we think we need. And the other incident was just as sad, and that was yesterday. And yesterday there was a case in the Barossa Valley here in South Australia where a woman, a man actually, decided that he was going to end the life of his daughter, his 9-month-old daughter, and his own, because the relationship also had come to an end. And again, I don't understand filicide. I put a post up about it a month ago, and to consider that, if the relationship's over, I'm going to take my child with me. What person possibly makes that sort of decision? How do they process that idea that at the end, if the end's got to come, it's got to come for me and my child? Like, she's not going to have her. She's not going to take this child. I'm going to cause her to suffer. Who would ever want that sort of suffering? It just is nonsensical. Who would want to create the suffering so much for somebody else, like losing their own child through death, as this man chose to do when he threw himself off a damn wall? Like, I guess we could say that these people are unwell, and that there may have been some indicators that they were unwell. The guy that threw himself off the wall with his daughter in his arms, he had broken up from his ex, and the police were called on many, many occasions in relation to that relationship. And there must have been some indication, something that perhaps he had said that would have indicated that he would have taken these extreme steps. And I wonder who heard that. And, are our laws adequate enough to be able to incarcerate people for treatment purposes, I guess, so that those issues can be resolved and so that the other parent can be safe? In this instance, I believe there were no restraining orders necessarily, from what I understand, even though I might be wrong, and that she had permitted the daughter to be with the daughter's father. And on the other hand, I do know that there are times when people don't talk about the deepest, darkest ideas that they might have, and that he may have been planning this for a while, or do what a lot of men do, and that is on the spur of the moment they make a decision about doing something terrible to themselves, and on this occasion to somebody else. And what is it like? So I'm reflecting back on what was it like for these kids of this woman up in Queensland, and what is it like for this mother to have lost her daughter under these circumstances, and how she must feel about having let her daughter go with him, and whether he was controlling her and controlled her in such a way that she felt obligated for this child to go with the father. We don't know. We can only surmise, but my guess would be that he probably did. And rather than her putting up the fight, she said, okay, you can go. Because there are so many women who go to family court, argue the case, and often have that case they lose the case? Yeah, I guess to some extent they do. And there'll be men out there that will complain they also lose cases because things are said about them that they declare are not true. And all I can say to you guys who believe that shit, it's bullshit. Because it is rare where a woman would make allegations against a man, or children make allegations against the father that are untrue. In my experience, what normally happens is that the father, in most cases, it does not accept responsibility for their behaviour, and they don't understand how their behaviour has impacted other people in that family. And as long as they're in denial, they're always going to say that someone else is responsible for whatever's happening to them, that it's the mother or the children who are making statements that are untrue. And often, most of the time, that's not the case. The case is that, guys, you're just ignorant. You're just ignorant of what it is that you do and don't care about what you do that impacts somebody else. If you did, you'd take note of that and you'd change your behaviour so it didn't impact the other people that you say that you supposedly care about. And I see so many cases. I've been working in this area for over 30 years, and I see so many men who behave so badly and yet fail to understand how that behaviour has impacted other people in their lives. And then they blame the other person. They blame the other person for their behaviour. So if a woman chooses for a guy not to see the kids because she's fearful for them, and I just wonder, this woman who lost her child yesterday, what sort of process of self-recrimination is she doing in relation to her allowing her child to go with this guy? And how are you to know, if a guy is violent and abusive and threatening, how are you to know that they're not going to harm the child or yourself? And yourself in particular in relation to this woman in Queensland who was burnt to death. And I've said this many, many times, but as a male, it is embarrassing to see how other men behave. It's atrocious. It's sad. And I've been working for years to try and correct that behaviour. And sometimes you're successful, and a lot of the times you're not, because men choose to think that they're the ones in control, they're superior to everybody else, and they're not prepared to listen to solutions and ideas that may keep other people safe. And one of the most telling statements I ever get from men is, you're asking me to change. I'm not asking you to stop being loving. I'm not asking you to stop being caring. I'm not asking you to stop being considerate and thoughtful. If they're your qualities, then that's fabulous. I'm just asking you to stop being abusive. And take note of whatever it is that you do and how that impacts the other people in your life, the ones that you say that you care for. That's all we're asking. We're not asking for a personality change. We're asking for a behavioural change. So, a behaviour doesn't make up who we are, right? It's just that our behaviour hurts other people, and we can stop it. We can still be basically the same sort of person, but we just stop the abusive behaviour. I don't think that's a lot to ask of people, but maybe we don't ask it enough. So I'm concerned about these women. I'm concerned about all women and kids who are forced to be in relationships that are damaging. I am. And it's about time us men took responsibility for our behaviour and did something about it. And if we don't, then we don't deserve to have those relationships, a relationship with our partner and a relationship with our kids. And I fight for families, men, women, to have relationships with their kids every day, because I do believe it's vital. And you can have relationships even where you've been violent and abusive. You can continue to have relationships that are respectful and that no longer are harmful. That's your choice. And it always amazes me where if you keep doing the same old thing and you get the same stupid result, and you're not gaining what you want, then surely you need to make choices about what it is you can do differently. But some guys are thick. They're so entrenched in their sense of who they are and as a male that they believe that by changing their behaviour in ways that are helpful and respectful means that they're becoming somebody else, and it's just not true. You just become a better part of who you are. That's all. You can reinvent yourself so that you can be a better person. Everybody should be doing that. But regretfully, there are too many men out there who just don't hear that, who don't care enough to change their behaviour so they're no longer harming other people. But we need to do something about it, because we need to have this conversation, actually. We need to talk about all of this stuff. We need to recognise what it does to others. And guys, we need to put a stop to it. Right now. So thanks for being with me, and this will be on YouTube, and if you wish to share, subscribe, or like, please do so. Thanks everybody. Take care. Look after yourself. And as I've just been saying, more importantly, be safe.